2025 was a great year for physical media, and in this video, I'm going to share a few of my favorites. Welcome back to Movies Good, Internet Bad. I'm Corey, and top 10 is really hard. That's like picking favorite children. There are a lot of movies that released on physical media, some new, some catalog, so I just have a big fat stack of them over here, and I'm going to go through them one by one that are my personal favorites. As we get into this, just because it's my favorite, doesn't mean that it has to be one of yours, and I would love to hear from you. So drop a comment below, let me know what your favorite discs of the year were, like and subscribe, and let's dive right in. So I'm going to start with a controversial one here, and that's David Fincher's Seven on 4K Blu-ray. This is getting a standard package soon, but I think the Steelbook actually looks really nice. I know there was some controversy here regarding this title when it came to AI upscaling and restoration efforts and what the director's vision is, but that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't think that the HD version looked all that great, and I think the 4K looks and sounds pretty awesome, and it is a worthwhile piece of my collection now. Next up, another early release from the year is The Substance from Mubi. This movie completely caught me by surprise in 2024. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise as well. Just knockout performances from Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. The film has a ton of insanely creative compositions, amazing practical effects, all of which look really, really great on the 4K disc, and also a pretty slamming soundtrack too. So definitely worth checking out if the whole body horror thing is something that you get on with. It'll definitely test out your subwoofers with some of the bass drops, and it's just a really great way to spend 2.5 hours. So the next one I have here, I'm going to kind of cheat. It's a little bit of a twofer. It is Tron and Tron Legacy from Disney on 4K Steelbook here. Tron Legacy has always been kind of a reference disc for a lot of folks. The old Blu-ray has a very, very good soundtrack, and it also does the whole IMAX aspect ratio shifting thing, if that is up your alley. Thankfully, the 4K retains all of that, and the switch to Atmos made the soundtrack even more immersive, because now we're including the height channels without having to upmix. So really, really great audio stuff there. The video kind of speaks for itself with that film. Joseph Kosinski, that was kind of the start of his ascendance before making Top Gun Maverick, and then F1, which also came out this year, which is not on my list. I did a review of that earlier this year, but didn't make the cut for my favorite discs. But the original Tron also went through a very extensive restoration process, and it looks pretty incredible. Some of the goofy effects that go on inside the grid, you kind of got to suspend disbelief a little bit, but they really do look great, and I can't imagine the disc looking any better than it does in this current state. So I don't say this too often, but kudos to Disney for putting those out. I did get the chance to check out the Tron Ares disc as well. Doesn't technically come out until 2026, so it's not on this list, but boy oh boy, visuals and audio on that are outstanding as well. So next up on the list here, coming in from A24, is Warfare from Alex Garland. Not the easiest movie to watch, because the whole idea is that it really kind of puts you right into warfare. That's the name of the damn movie. So audio mix is unbelievable in this, and so is the video too. I mean, Alex Garland, the last couple of things he's done, this and Civil War, both are reference quality from a picture and audio standpoint. There's some gunfire and Atmos stuff in Warfare that it'll rock your world. It's pretty intense. It's a lot of fun, and it's just a chilling movie. Really, really enjoyable stuff there. Worth checking out. Next up might be my favorite disc of the year. I'm not 100% certain. Again, this is in no particular order, but I have Ryan Coogler's Sinners. I made a video all about this disc right after it came out. And at that point, I said that it was the best disc of the year, and I don't know if much has changed. The movie was shot on film, obviously, as many folks have discussed. You got the Ultra Panavision 276 that then expands up to the 178, which in theaters was 143 with the IMAX 70mm film. Just looks unbelievable. The cinematography in that film is amazing. The clarity on the IMAX film is so ridiculous. The resolution is so good. I just want to watch it over and over and over again. And then again, it's a movie that is built around music, and the music really takes advantage of all of your speakers in your home theater. The "I Lied to You" segment in the middle of the movie is just, it's probably one of the best cinematic moments of 2025, and in all its glory on the home release. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. The next one, a little bit of a newer release. It is Bugonia, which is the newest film from Yorgos Lanthimos. Stars Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. If you haven't checked this movie out, it's a remake of a Japanese film called Save the Green Planet. It's shot on VistaVision, so basically 35 millimeter turned sideways to get higher resolution, and it looks really cool. Looks really great. VistaVision has kind of come back in vogue a little bit after the last couple of years. Bugonia was shot on it. The Brutalist, which was a big Oscar contender last year, and then of course One Battle After Another, which is one of the other big movies in 2025. The physical release for that is not until January, so that will probably end up being on next year's top 4K list that I do. But yeah, Bugonia, the audio is pretty good for what it is, but the real standout there is the picture quality. There's some close-up shots with that VistaVision film that they just have like a real 3D effect, and they really look fantastic. And if you've got a nice display, whether it's a projector or an OLED or a high-end LED or something, definitely worth checking out there. So, next one on the list here comes in from Warner Brothers. This is Weapons, sleeper hit of the year for a lot of folks. Little horror thriller movie from Zach Kreger. Horror movies tend to get overlooked in the home theater space, I think, from some folks, but Weapons was really great, and it has a very deliciously creepy Dolby Atmos mix. Picture quality is pretty good too. It standard, well-lit, well-shot film, but the audio is really the star of that disc for me. It takes advantage of all of your speakers. It's a very active mix, and it makes all of those moments in the horror thriller area very immersive. I would be remiss if I did not put a superhero movie on here, so we're going to talk about James Gunn's Superman. The Marvel discs were okay this year. Captain America Brave New World, kind of a wet fart of a movie. Has a pretty decent disc though, not so bad. Thunderbolts is great, really love Thunderbolts. And Fantastic Four, for what it is, looked pretty good on 4K disc as well. I actually just watched that over the holiday break. But Superman was significantly better for me from a home video release than any of the Marvel films. It feels like a comic book coming to life. I have another video that I did just about this disc earlier this year too. But the presentation looks and feels exactly how James Gunn wanted it to feel, which was not like a superhero action movie, but was a comic book movie. And that really comes across in the home release. The Atmos mix is fantastic. It is very bold, very immersive, and it really hits when it needs to. So, and it also kicks off a whole new universe. And what's more exciting than that? We've got Supergirl, Lanterns, Clayface, Man of Tomorrow, Peacemaker Season 2 happened. There's a lot that's already come out of James Gunn's DC and is coming in the future. And a starting off point, always exciting. Kind of like the Iron Man disc from the MCU back in 2008. So getting close to the end here, I have From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. Pretty good movie. Not my favorite John Wick film, but not my least favorite either. But again, with a John Wick movie, you're coming for the action, and boy does it deliver. There's some really clever low light photography in this movie that looks really, really good on the disc, and the audio is fantastic. Every slash of a knife, every object that gets thrown at someone, every handgun, shotgun, machine gun, you name it, it'll feel like you got shot by the end of the movie. It really, really works out the speakers, and is a great release from Lionsgate. So next up, we have a catalog title here. I have Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I've never owned it on physical media. I've owned it on Vudu, iTunes. I've streamed it in a million places, but I had never owned a physical copy of it. And to own it on 4K, that is just fantastic. You know, shot on 35 millimeter, looks amazing, and is probably one of the best films of its time. Just really great to preserve that and to be able to own it and have it for years to come, and what will probably be the best way to see it. And then the last one on the list is this big fella here, which I've talked about in previous videos too, but it's the Wes Anderson Archive from Criterion. It is a big boy. It is an expensive boy. But it is 10 Wes Anderson films from Bottle Rocket all the way up until The French Dispatch. The packaging is incredible. It is a true collector's item. And for many of these films, this is the first time that they've been available in the 4K format. I've owned all of his movies on standard Blu-ray, but getting the 4K treatment, since they're all shot on 35 millimeter, the amazing compositions that he includes, all the wild colors that show up in his movies. To me, yes, it's expensive, but it is absolutely a must-own, just because it's one of the greatest catalogs that from any single filmmaker that you can get out there. So that's everything that I've got on my list. There's a bunch of stuff that I liked this year that didn't make this list. You know, Dogma came out on 4K. After kind of being in IP hell for a while. Minority Report and Catch Me If You Can came out on 4K earlier this year. You know, F1 was a great movie. The Marvel movies that I talked about. Tons of great catalog stuff too. Master and Commander, Tombstone, Dark City had a great release from Arrow. There's a ton. And I feel like while it may be a little bit harder to find some of these discs, especially some of those Disney steelbooks like the Master and Commander and Tombstone and Kingdom of Heaven, things like that. Physical media feels like it's in a really good spot. There have been a lot of really great releases, and it kind of feels like the way that fandom is heading is kind of swinging back in the direction of people buying and owning their media, because they've had bad experiences with streaming or with losing something that they thought they purchased when they bought it digitally or whatnot. So really excited to see what 2026 brings. There are a lot of huge movies coming out. There are a bunch of movies from the end of 2025 that haven't had their releases yet. And it looks like there's a bunch of great catalog stuff coming too. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Would love to hear from you. Drop me a comment below and let me know what your thoughts are on my list, and share your thoughts. You know, let me know what your favorite discs and releases were of the year. And I'll make sure to answer every single comment that comes through. Check out all of our videos that we did on Pluribus, which was probably one of the best TV shows of the year. We also reviewed Avatar, Fire and Ash right before the holiday break as well. And when we come back, I think Shane and I are going to do a video with our favorite movies and TV shows of 2025 as well. So be on the lookout for all of those things and so much more. And until next time, see you guys in the next video.